All right, everybody. So we're going to be taking a look at a previous example that we looked at. This is from example 4.2. I did dumb it down just a little bit just for, the concept. But if we look at this code, we have two variables at the top, side length set to 200, and we also have the box color set to blue. Then we have import turtle, screen equals turtle.screen, screen.setup 500, 500. We made a turtle, right? And then we're telling the turtle to become the box color, which is the blue up here that it will reference. This is variables that we should know by now. T1.beginFill and a T1.endFill, so whatever we draw between those lines is going to be colored in. Forward side length, so forward 200, right 90, forward side length, right 90, forward side length. This is building a square. So let's run it. Let's just see it in action. And then let's apply our graphics to it. All right, so there's my turtle colored in, the color that I want and the size that I want. If I wanted to, I could make this smaller and I could turn this red, run it, and we're going to get the small red box. All right, now here is where we're going to use the inputs. All right, I don't care about choosing a specific number, so let's get rid of that. Our side length needs to have an input for this value. And if we're noticing, we didn't put that number in quotes, right? So we had like the value right here. Now we're going to assume that our users are always intelligent and always know the intentions of our program. Doesn't always happen like that. But we're going to pretend that for now, they are competent users who know how to use our stuff. So when we type this in, we're going to give them just an integer as a value because this is a mathematical piece, right? Moving forward, any amount of distance is mathematical because it's the number of steps they have to take. So we are going to call this int parentheses input how large for the sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit space 3 times. Why? You'll see that in a minute. I got to close my first parentheses, close my second. Notice how it highlighted this section as well to say like, hey, I closed this whole thing off. Use that to your advantage when you're typing in things and you need to close parentheses. It tells you, it gives you like, this is the section that you closed off. Very valuable for later on. And box color, this is not going to be an integer or a float. This is just going to be input what color box. Question, space, 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 quotes, and close the parentheses. Now we've enhanced our program. Let's run it. Okay, so the first thing, before anything even draws, we are going to ask how large for the side. Let me say 25, press enter. So notice the spacing here. Sometimes what people will do is they'll add an extra space or two to think that they're helping out the program look nice and neat. You shouldn't be doing that. You should allow them to put in, give them that space already so they can start typing it in from there. So I'm going to put in pink, and when I press enter, it's going to open up everything. All right, so see what happened here? I added a couple extra spaces. Bad color string, space, 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 pink. So see when I pressed the spaces and then tried to backspace? That was an error. So let's try running it again. All right, 25. And I'm just going to type pink right as it is. And what it should do is build my little tiny pink box. All right. So we can choose this to be any color that we want, along with any size that I want. Let's say I want a 400 length sides, and we're going to make this orange. All right, when I press enter, here it is. Ooh, there we go. There's my big giant box running. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much how we're applying inputs to graphics. Again, like I've told you multiple times, everything is interchangeable. Anything that you learn can be interchanged between any other lesson or activity that we do. So if you can imagine it, you can piece it together. And that, again, is the beauty of code. Once you learn something, that can interact with every other thing that you have ever done. All right? So the assignment for this activity is to go back to those Olympic rings. However you built them, however you pieced them together, whatever you did with it, I want you to go in, and now instead of setting each of those variables at the top as chosen colors, let the user pick each of the colors. And then the same thing for how large the rings are. Let the user decide like how large they want the rings to be, the size of the circle. Now circles, they're probably going to need to be put in as integers. All right. You can also use floats. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if I put in float for this, this will still work, and now it will accept decimals. You're going to get these weird things, like if I say 100.5, it's really going to round up to basically 100. Ooh, what's going on here? There we go. Oops, I accidentally pressed Control S. And let's make this green. All right, I still get my green box. It technically has sides of 100.5. Python's really just going forward 100 on this. But if you want to allow them to type in certain things like that, like decimals, all you got to do again is change it into floats. I use integers just because I doubt anyone's going to choose a size of 100.234 like distance, and it's just kind of silly to write code that does that, especially if we're just still learning the basic pieces of it. All right. So anyway, just to recap, make your Olympic rings where you can ask whatever color the person wants, and you can pretty much have them design their own Olympic rings. You could even have them type in at the inputs at the top the X and Y coordinates if you really wanted to get fancy. I wouldn't do that because that seems kind of weird, but just a thought to have. All right. So again, this is another quick lesson. Hopefully you're feeling very comfortable with these different types of inputs. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.